On a hill above town, a bronze bell hangs beneath a temple roof, its lip green with lichen, its note deep as winter. One summer it began to ring at night when the air was perfectly still. Chapter 1. Evening on the Temple Hill. Crickets stitched the fields together with sound as Hero swept fallen ginkgo leaves from the temple steps. The bell pavilion stood dark, the suspended log beam tied back with rope. A breeze should have set the rope swaying. The trees stood motionless. From the town below rose noodle steam and television laughter, the ordinary tones of summer. The bell tolled once, deep, skin-felt. The beam had not moved. Hero stood very still, broom raised like a spear, and felt the air lean cold toward his cheek. He climbed the pavilion. No footprints marred the dust. He pressed a palm to the bell. It throbbed faintly, the way a chest does after a shout. He bowed to it out of embarrassed habit and backed away. In the main hall, he lit a stick of incense and told himself metal contracts at night. Chapter 2. The Rope That Tightened. On the third evening, the toll came again, nearer to full dark. Hero checked the knot that held the beam back. New fibers gleamed among old ones as if someone had retied it with fresh cord. The ground around the pavilion smelled briefly of river, cool and green, though the stream lay far downhill. He placed salt at the four corners of the platform and hung a small bell at the entry as a telltale. The small bell never chimed. The great one hummed once, without strike. Villagers began to stop at the gate, looking up with the unease people reserve for sky and gods. Maybe it is an omen, an auntie said, not meaning good or bad, only admitting that meaning had entered. Chapter 3. Faces in the Bronze. The moon angled low, turning the bell's green lip to silver. Hero climbed again with a lantern and held its light along the metal. The patina held more than oxidation. Shallow ovals softened by time, cheeks, brows, mouths, as if fingers had pressed faces outward from inside the bronze. He told himself they were random pits. Then one mouth shaped a syllable he knew. The next hole didn't strike his ears. It struck his sternum. Inside the tone he heard his name, not as word, but as chord, the way Templewood remembers every prayer hands have knocked. He dropped to his knees without choosing to, and found himself whispering, "Tadaima, I'm home," not to the hall behind him, but to the bell. The taste in his mouth was iron like blood and clean like rain. Chapter 4. Night of 100 Echoes. The following night, thunderheads clung to the horizon, but no wind reached the hill. The bell sounded twice. Then again, a rhythm Hero knew from Joya no Kane, the 108 rings that cast off human desires at year's turn. He ran the rope through his hands. It burned like friction made by invisible palms. Lights bloomed along the path as villagers climbed, carrying a high memorial tablets wrapped in cloth. "If they want ringing," the abbot said, breathless, "we will give it as offering." He set tablets on the pavilion floor one by one. Incense ladders of smoke rose. After the 49th toll, the air shifted. A breeze from the valley, gentle and smelling of wet stone. At 108, the bell let out a longer breath than any metal should hold. Hero cried without shame. The faces in the bronze seemed less strained, as if the metal had remembered rest. Chapter 5. Why the Bell Was Calling. In daylight, men from the temple went downriver. Fresh scars pocked the bank where a flash flooded gnawed earth away. A half-buried stone marker lay on its side, name nearly erased. They were moved, the abbot said softly. The bell heard what the stream could not carry. They brought the marker up the hill and set it near the hall, brushing soil from carved strokes. Names were recited until voices grew hoarse. Bells are mouths for those who have none, the abbot told Hero. When the wind fails to carry prayers, bronze does. That night the big bell slept, only crickets stitched the dark. Hero tied the beam back with his own hands and left a new rope coiled at the base in case someone without breath needed it. The first wind of autumn rattled ginkgo leaves like applause. If a bell calls when air is still, listen for names in the note. Bring what the river lost to higher ground. Some silences need bronze to speak for them. Temple bells, Bonsho, are rung 108 times on New Year's Eve, Joya no Kane, to dispel earthly desires. Rope-drawn beams strike the bell's lip. Rural temples often serve as community memory. Ihai memorial tablets and recitation of names are central rites. Floods dislodging graves are a recurring theme in folk tales, where bells or drums sound without touch to summon the living to perform needed prayers.